Good morning. Welcome to the Celtic Way Morning Briefing Live. I'm Tony Haggerty at a Haggerty 10. I'm back. Aidan kindly let me away with briefing duty Wednesday, Thursday. Thank you for that, sir. Appreciate it. But hey, I'm joined today by Aidan Macdonald at Aidan C. Macdonald on a Twitter handle. Good morning, Aidan. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, Tony. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. I'm good. Yes. And first things first, I wanted to thank everybody for their kind comments about the Cameron Carter Vickers piece. People got in touch and said they read it and they enjoyed it. So thank you for that. Really appreciate it. Always appreciate kind words. But yeah, thanks for that. Glad you liked it. A wee bit of work went into that, Aidan. But there you have it. All good. You're only as good as the people you talk to, aren't you, Aidan?
I've always said that, Tony. I've always said that.
Indeed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've always got an offer on for you as well, and this is our best ever offer. And why not take us up on it? It's a year for £12, which works out at £1 a month. It's all for the click of a button. www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. A year of unlimited access to everything that's written on the website. Can't say fairer than that, can we, Aidan?
No, you can't. And obviously, as part of your subscription, you'll get access to all sorts of exclusive content, such as the Cameron Carter Vickers piece that you just touched on there, Tony. Tactical pieces with boy Alan Morrison, Duco James, scouting pieces as well will be coming over the summer, which I know will be quite of interest to a lot of people from Celtic are inevitably getting linked with plenty of players over the summer transfer window. They're always quite interesting pieces to get a wee bit of analysis into who might be joining the club or what a potential transfer can bring. So get yourself involved if you haven't already.
Yeah, so that's if you want to get involved, it's a year. It costs you £12 for the year. www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. There you go. Now, Aidan, Celtic return to Celtic Park tomorrow. The champions can take their salute and their bow in front of their home supporters. It seems like ages since they won the title, but it'll be nice to give the troops a wave, won't it? And they can Celtic fans can show their appreciation for the team for everything they've done this season. On the cusp of a world record domestic treble, Aidan, 90 minutes away from that during the third Scottish Cup final against Inverness, Caledonian Thistle. But yeah, 2 years Ange's been in situ. 2 years he's delivered the title in the League Cup. He was hoping he had the Scottish Cup this season, but yeah, I think the Celtic supporters are really looking forward to tomorrow, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. It's always good to be sort of welcoming the team back for the first time. And when I think this game's been sort of earmarked as soon as you worked at a potential day that Celtic could win the league, the fact that it looked like probably where it had been, if it happened at Ibrox or at Tynecastle, it was probably going to be unlikely it would take till the third game. So you knew you weren't going to get to win it in front of the home fans. So the next best thing's been able to come back and celebrate. We know obviously there's trophy day still to come next Saturday, I think it is, Tony.
Yeah.
And that's obviously one of the sort of marquee days on the calendar. Everybody enjoys that, along with probably, Flag Day and then potential cup finals. But I'm sure it'll be a really good environment tomorrow. The atmosphere will be good. Hopefully Celtic will be wanting to get back to winning ways as well.
And to Steel Kaisers, where Aidan hope there's a cornucopia of trophies being paraded that day. That would be good.
That's too big a word for me at this time in the month.
you had your first coffee yet, though, woken up?
Not yet, no.
Your first caffeine shot. Yes, a plethora of trophies, hopefully, to be on display. But yeah, Trophy Day, I think it'll be a real party atmosphere. But it'll be a party atmosphere tomorrow as well, because I think the manager alluded to it. He would have loved a home game and amongst the time where you clinch the title, but it doesn't really matter where or when you do it, as long as you do it. So yeah, I think most Celtic supporters can't wait to just sort of show their appreciation, as I said, for the team's efforts this season, and they've been magnificent.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, like I said before, I think it might have been just after Hearts I was talking about this when Celtic actually won the league. You run out of good things to say about this team. It's been so positive domestically this season, with the exception a couple of defeats and a couple of draws, but that's going to happen when you're playing so many games in Scotland. The fact that they've only had a few slip-ups shows you how consistent they've been. And yeah, it's going to be brilliant to actually for the fans to receive the players, get to see them. I'd imagine probably Ange coming round at the end will be a bit of an event, as it always is, but maybe particularly in this case. So yeah, no, I'm not looking forward to it.
Speaking of Ange, he was at the Scott Brown and Michael Lustig night at the Hydro last night, and what a reception he got. They just love him. The Celtic supporters love him. End of.
Star of the show, I think, Tony, despite it being Scott Brown. People, I think a lot of people just went to see Ange, which is fair enough. But yeah, no, it looked like that Ange was getting a good reception, as he should.
Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful to see. You just wonder what he, it's hard to get close to him, but you just wonder what he kind of makes of it all. There's lots of people in a crowded arena singing his name and chanting his name and singing the song that accompanies with him, the dusting down of the Carpenters song, and it's just, you must look at it and think, wow, this is amazing. I mean, I've seen various reports that he's selling his house over in Australia. Don't know why, but hey, there you go. I was wondering if Dermot Desmond had finally seen sense and came over to Scotland and nailed him down to a 25-year contract like Jim McLean used to do with Dundee United players. We'd hope that was the case, wouldn't you? But yeah, it's all good. It's all good and positive around the club at the minute, isn't it, Aidan? And that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, it's positive from all directions, and obviously all sort of areas of the club have been successful this season. B team, under 18s, first team, hopefully the women's team, which I know we'll come on to discuss today, potentially with a league and a Scottish Cup to come. So yeah, it's all going well at the moment, Tony, which you have to try and savour and enjoy, don't you?
Oh, you've got to live for the moment. Yeah, I mean, I've always said that. Yeah. Yours guys are coming back in. Told you, Tony, it's a Kaiser 10-year, 10 million a year deal. There you go. Kaiser's constantly pushing that. We'll see what happens, But no, tomorrow, Aidan, Celtic St Mirren, you want Celtic to turn on the style, putting on, pile on the agony, turn on the style, putting on the style and all that kind of stuff. I know they did it when trophy presentation day and they swatted Motherwell aside 6-0, but you would like to see another performance befitting of the way they've played this season, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would say so, Tony. I think it's important to get back to winning ways after the disappointment at Ibrox. Well, obviously, we don't really need to discuss it that much at this stage. You and Ryan broke it down and I touched on it when I was on Wednesday. But yeah, I think it's important that they sort of put in a good performance. Now, St Mirren have been sort of worthy adversaries this season. They obviously beat Celtic. There was a game in the Scottish Cup at Parkhead. Now, despite it ending 5-1, I know you and Sean and I discussed it at the time that for a good chunk of the game, I think it was 2-0 or 2-1. And it was really tight, and then Celtic the last sort of 10 minutes blew them away. With the exception really being, I think, that of the 4-0 game at Celtic Park in the league, sort of not long after they came back, not long after the New Year. That was kind of the only time that Celtic fully blew St Mirren. And I think that it will be a tough game. Stuart Robertson's had a good season in terms of his squad. St Mirren making the top 6 for the first time in, I think it was a couple of decades, wasn't it, if not longer? So it'll be. I'm sure it'll be a tough game, but I think Andrew will be playing a really strong team. I don't think you'll see sort of similar amount of changes he did in the Rangers game. I think maybe if Celtic had played the strong team at Ibrox and won, then this could have been a game there was a few players rested. But I think he'd be desperate to get the team back to winning ways. So I'm hoping for a good performance, Tony.
I think you have to big up St Mirren as well, being one of only 2 teams to defeat Celtic domestically this season. We know who the other one was. We'll not dwell on that. But yeah, Stephen Robinson's team were the first to do it, weren't they? So, and they've given Celtic problems this season. They've all been tough games. The cup game, I remember in particular, the one that you mentioned, it was 5-1, but you sort of wondered how it was a 5-1 game, because Celtic scored a lot of goals. But I guess the old mantra that they never stopped and they kept going right until the end of that particular match. But no, I think, as you said there, St Mirren have been worthy adversaries this season, and they've done very well to finish in the top 6, and you have to give them credit for that. And they won't stand in Cerny tomorrow, so you will be in a game. They will want to try and replicate that defeat of Celtic and Paisley in the earlier part of the season. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm like you. I think he'll go strong again, and the Celtic team will want to get back to winning ways as quickly as possible. It's Pete McGee, no disrespect to St Mirren, but he hopes to really scalp them tomorrow. what's the phrase I use, Pete? Give them an Inverness Clacknacuddin, or are we waiting for that for the Scottish Cup final to give Inverness an Inverness Clacknacuddin? Is that the way this is going to work out?
That's what I was guessing, Tony, but I always like to hear you use that phrase. So if you want to chime in a couple of weeks early, then that's fine.
Marky, we're expecting a full strength team. Derek Crawford, a Clacknacuddin. Derek knows his score. Lots of. Is he talking about me? The Godfather's back on the screens. Good. Is that me, Patrick McLaughlin's referring to the Godfather? Or listen, if that's the case and that's who I am, I would say I'm more Don Curly Worley than Don Corleone Aidan. You know what I mean? So there you go. Pete McGee said, nice one, Tony, indeed. Now, a few comments coming in. George Townsley, morning guys, love the CCV article. Thanks very much. Andrew Gillier saying it was very good, Tony. Cheers. Marquis saying good to see the old pro back on the show. I guess that's me, Aidan, all day. So Michael Kerr, Tony's back. Just as well I don't go to HR for ages comments, isn't it? You know. Derek Crawford, thank you, Derek. Hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. My ball talking about the game tomorrow. Like make some noise for the boys tomorrow. Champions indeed. Marquee party in paradise, very much so. And Alan Woods, David Hanna still on his Dundee United contract from Jim McLean, as alluding to the 25-year deals that used to put his players on. Our captain spoke very well as usual in his interview yesterday. He did speak very well. I was quite impressed with that. And Gordon Coney coming in saying, I think Ange will send him out to put on a show, especially after last week. You touched on that, Aidan. We don't want to dwell on that, but I think that's pertinent, yeah. Alan was old, yeah, that is back to sick. I'm everything to all men and women on this briefing, Aidan. There you go, eh? Well, we'll take it. But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow, Aidan. Actually, it just seems like a while since Celtic played it at Celtic Park, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Obviously, it's been a while, to be fair, like you say, because it was the semi-final and then the 2 away games, so it'll be near enough a month or so, Tony. The last game, was it the last game? God, I actually can't remember. I'm struggling to think of what the actual last game at Parkhead was. It wasn't was it the 3-2 game against Rangers? That was the one after that.
I think it was, 3-2
Yeah, so it's been a while. I didn't want to confirm that it was that because that game seemed so long ago, but that would probably make sense now that I think about it. But yeah, it has been a wee while, so it'll be good to get this game, and then obviously the match at Easter Road next week, and then Trophy Day, and then Hampden. But it is good that Motherwell 1-1. Tony, sorry. Yep, of course. That's why I forgot about that game because it was not good.
It's kind of amazing how quickly you erase certain things from the memory banks, isn't it?
I think it's just draws. You forget draws, don't you? Remember defeats because you were annoyed, and you obviously remember wins. But I think when it was one of those games, Celtic ended up extending the lead anyway, didn't they, at that point? So I think it was. So I think it was it ended up being a bit a better result than it probably had any right to be. But yeah, so it's still been a wee while, obviously, since Celtic played at home. So it'll definitely be good to get the players back to Parkhead.
Michael Ross comes in and says, the thing is, we've been playing well below par for weeks, so hopefully the boys put in a higher tempo performance. Colin McGuinness comes in and says he's braced for an exciting summer of business and hasn't disappointed us yet. Here's Derek. We shot over the bow. Old Pro puts up the chat. That's me, the Old Pro. Young team needs to learn to get them up there. Fair enough. We love the chat and the interaction as you do. And Kaiser saying, love the chat and the interaction on the podcast. Don't ever change. It sets you aside from others. Legends, Aidan. Legends. You old enough to be a legend, Aidan? Clearly you are. There you go. That's allowed. I appreciate that. Thank you, Kaiser. Steve McGrory coming on. Motherwell draw, not a cousin, but we're having an excellent 90 minutes since the cup tie at Tynecastle. Arguably, we haven't had a great 90 minutes in the league since the Dons 4-0. Yeah, I would go along with that, Steve. Steve's well informed and a knowledgeable man, so I think that's fair comment, is it not, Aidan?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones, Tony. I think me and you debated about the couple of Rangers games that Celtic won, the sort of, not the last match, obviously, because of defeat, whether the performances were kind of as bad as people were making out. I think we sort of came to agreement that the semi-final they probably could have played a bit better. The League Cup final was pretty good. We thought, despite maybe what people were saying, it wasn't the prime Ange performance, but for that scenario, we thought Celtic dealt with it relatively well. In the 3-2 game, I think we went back and forth on that. Was it good? Was it bad? It was also an important victory, but I think we agreed the defending wasn't really up to scratch that day, which probably did sort of take it down a few in terms of looking back at as a performance. And maybe for the maybe is right, to be fair, in terms of the 4-0 game against Aberdeen, to go back. I think there has been a lot of games at Celtic maybe just kind of killed it off really when it's got to like 55, 60 minutes, but it's maybe only been 2-0 or so. Sure. And then in turn, if they've not got a few later goals, it maybe looks back as not a sort of vintage performance, but despite it being a really good 55, 60 minutes. I think Ange has mentioned himself that he's still wanting to get to the stage that the team's just playing like that for 90 minutes every game. Whether or not that's going to be possible, given the sort of energy it's getting out, I don't know, Tony. But
we'll certainly try, won't we?
Yeah, I think they will try. One of the other commenters was saying last decent performance in the league was away to Kilmarnock. That was a good performance, to be fair. I don't know. I don't want to feel like I'm criticising. I'm not saying anybody's criticising the team, but I don't want to feel like I'm having a go by saying it's been ages since there's been a good performance. But I definitely would agree that the semi-final, the game against Hearts and the game against Rangers, are probably was a sort of gradual dip in performance across those 3 games, which ultimately, when you're maybe struggling to get up to performance levels, as eventually you're probably going to lose a game, Tony, which is, and we'd said recently that sort of a lot of averages they were going to lose a game to Rangers at one point, and people will also go in and discuss you would rather it was that game than semi-finals, whatever. Obviously you don't want to lose any matches to Rangers, but I think there has been a sort of gradual dip in performance. I'm not going to disagree with that, so hopefully it'll be back to form tomorrow.
So for every yin there's a yang. Aidan and Derek mentioned the comments, but came out and says, don't feel bad, Aidan. He enjoyed yesterday's talk about the lone players. So there you go. Thanks for that, Kimatsu. So there you go. Don't say I'm no good to you. Biggie up. You know what I mean? The tempo has definitely dropped, says Derek Crawford, not talking about the podcast, I hope. He's talking about the Celtic team performance. And yes, indeed. Now, there was one that I did quite like. Where was it? Gordon Coney. Tony Soprano and Tony Montana posters of Tony Haggerty on the walls. Do they? I'd love to think that was the case, but hey, I don't think so. But hey, it's a nice thought, isn't it? It's a nice thought. And Steve McGrory comes in and says, away to Kelly was excellent first half, but we faded away in the second. Time to get back to top form for the 90, which what you were saying there, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think just that style is very difficult to maintain for 90 minutes, Tony, unless you're like Manchester City. In terms of, they obviously pretty much went at it for 90 minutes against Real Madrid, but it's pretty difficult to go that way for 90 minutes, but I'd imagine Ange will be wanting to probably be at the stage for maybe 75 minutes across the whole game, that rather than maybe dropping away after the first half. Or when I say dropping away, sometimes the games are done at half time. It's many matches have been like that this season, that even if it's not been 4 or 5 now at half time, it's maybe 2, and you're looking at it going, no, that's game done. It can just happen. Celtic overwhelm teams, but we'll see what happens. But I'd imagine Ange might touch on that potentially. I don't think he's in the presser today, Tony. I believe it's John Kennedy.
John Kennedy today, isn't it? No,
okay. That'll be interesting. Obviously, the last time it was John Kennedy, people were jumping to all sorts of conclusions online, etc. And he made that joke about the Ange tied up in the office in Lennoxtown or something like that to make sure he didn't leave. So that was that was interesting. But yeah, John Kennedy's doing the presser today, so maybe he'll have a wee bit of sort of slightly different analysis, a different take on what's been happening performance-wise. I'd imagine he probably will get asked that question, given that the last 4 games, there's been a draw, a defeat, and 2 wins in there, but they weren't exactly vintage performances. So I'd imagine he probably will be asked about the importance of getting performance back up to scratch.
Davy Raw comes in, turning on the agony, turning on the style, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, scoring all the while. There you go, Aidan. Just give me some lyrics to the song. There you have it. And Kevin Ferrier comes in. Well done. A big shout out to Ryan settling in well in a Celtic way. Yep, would echo that. Thank you for that. Pass that on to Ryan. Sure he'll watch it at some point as well. And Randall CFC said the champions will party, have a great summer and strengthen massively for next season. Davy O'Rourke comes in. Is that the presser at Parker's? Michael Ross, presser alert. Okay, guys, press conference, whatever way you want to call it. When
I just deliberately say presser.
George Kennedy sits down and talks to members of the media, I guess, indeed. There you go. So we'll see how it goes. But yes, now, Aidan, we're looking forward to a Super Sunday, aren't we, in terms of the women's game. Now, you broke it all down for us the other day and let everybody know what happens. Glasgow City playing Rangers and Celtic playing Hearts. Rangers playing Glasgow City at Ibrox, Celtic playing Hearts at Celtic Park. And it's a three-way fight, shootout for the title, Aidan. And basically, Glasgow City lead by 2 points, don't they? Rangers are second on 1 goal at the minute, and Celtic are third, a goal behind Rangers on the same points as Rangers. And basically, the decent outcome is Glasgow City and Rangers draw, or if Rangers win, Celtics win, tops it, doesn't it? Is that right? And they will win the title. So
yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it.
That's what we're hoping for, isn't it? And moving it to Celtic Park's a great move, isn't it?
You know, it was good to see that. I think there's been a wee bit of confusion online because people were trying to buy tickets for the game down at Airdrie because there'd been an original link put up earlier in the week, then that's been taken down. And then there'll start to be speculation when they played at Parkhead, and thankfully there are also it's free for season ticket holders. And I think it's something it's like £8 for adults and also free for under 16s, just in terms of tickets. But yeah, it was good to see that, and it'll be a really big occasion. Obviously, it's going to be difficult. You know what it's like, Tony, when you're relying on another team's result, no matter what the competition is. It's always just feels like a step further away.
Yes.
Despite the sort of context being that Rangers are only a goal ahead, and for, at least it's at the stage that if Rangers win, Celtic get a good few goals against Hearts, or Rangers and Glasgow City draw. So there is a couple of outcomes. It's not like one specific outcome. Rangers to beat Glasgow City by 5 or 6. If anything, you want it to just be a tight game, and then yeah, it's not going to be easy, but I think there's a good chance of it happening. And there's also the extra dynamic of one game taking place at Parkhead, and one game taking place at Ibrox. I think I think they might do it, Tony. But I know it's not going to be easy. But I've got a good feeling about it. I don't know why. Maybe it's after the sort of positivity around about the Glasgow City game, and then another important win against Hibs. But it feels like it could be a special occasion, and I think there's a high chance, or a very high chance, that they'll break the sort of attendance for a SWPL game as well. It's currently held by Celtic for the Celtic Glasgow City game, whatever it was, 9,500, 10,000. I'd imagine it'll be over that, Tony. There's been a lot of people online discussing about buying tickets, and if you went when I went on anyway to get my tickets for the game because I'm going, and it was there wasn't very many left in the section. I think they were doing different sections at a time, but it didn't look like there was a lot of tickets available. So yeah, no, it's going to be a special day, and obviously there's the extra dynamic of them both kicking off at the same time. So yeah, no, we'll see. But I think it might be a special day, Tony. I've got a good feeling about it.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear, Aidan. But yeah, one of the Celtic women's team would love to see them win the title, but it is going to be a Super Sunday, and exactly, I'm sure the Celtic supporters will be right behind them. Yep, all season ticket holders back the girls on Sunday. Yeah, without a doubt, Aidan, it's shaping up to be a cracker, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is. And yeah, they're just hoping that Celtic will get a good few goals and either Rangers win or it's a draw. In my head, even if Rangers do win, I can't see them putting several goals past Glasgow City because they are also a top team. I think when Celtic scored 3 against them recently and won 3-1, that's the most goals they've lost for a while. And it wasn't always something they were used to. So I think it'd be very unlucky. Like, see if Rangers were to win and then they scored like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
that'd be extremely unlucky if Celtic were to get quite a few goals and then that's the way it turned out. But no, I think it'll be interesting, Tony. And it's good excitement, good coverage for the women's game. The fact that I'm sure there'll be plenty of fans at Ibrox. We know there's going to be a good crowd at Celtic Park, hopefully beating records. So no, it's going to be a positive game and hopefully a really good experience. Now
the top 2 qualify for the Champions League, don't they, Aidan? So it's imperative that Celtic finish in the top 2, isn't it?
Yeah, that is, yeah. that is absolutely vital if that turns out to be the case, to be honest. Obviously, that's all about the league at the moment, but if that kind of becomes clear that maybe the way the game's going, that isn't going to be the case, Celtic still need to make sure they're winning and scoring a few goals because they want to get that Champions League spot, which is obviously vital. That'd be the first time I think Celtic would be in it automatically, which would be obviously be disappointing to miss out in the league, given the position they were in at one point, but that would still be progression because that's something they've not had before. So, which is always what you want to see, just development each season. I think you'd be able to class that as development if you're getting in the Champions League.
Yep, so all eyes turn to the women's team on Sunday after Celtic play St Mirren on Saturday. It's shaped up to be an absolute corker of a day. Here's hoping the women's team and Fran Alonso can get it over the line, Aidan. You'll be there to see that, and so will Ryan, I believe.
We'll both be there, so yeah, looking forward to it.
Excellent. Now, new contract for Scott Bain, Aidan. 3-year deal. We were discussing in the group chat last night. Wow, but I think there's method in that madness because maybe they need the quota of Scottish players for Champions League registration and stuff like that. One would conjecture, but I mean, he hasn't featured at all, really, has he?
Not featured since the end of 2021, Tony, in the game, the 0-0 draw against St Mirren. I can't remember if it was November or December 2021, but St Mirren had quite a lot of players out with COVID. Celtic had a few as well. Scott Bain started in goals. It was a brutal 0-0 draw. I think at the time Rangers went like 5 points clear in the league. So, yeah, it's been a while since he's played. He didn't play, he didn't play a lot in pre-season either. He didn't play any games during the Sydney Super Cup. So, there's been a long time since he's played any sort of football. He's obviously not involved with the B team or anything like that. There's not a reserve league or anything. So, he's actually just been training, but I was a bit surprised to see it personally, Tony. I can understand obviously the thing about the Scottish players quota, but I was personally a wee bit surprised to see him reportedly given a 3-year deal. We should say it's not been confirmed.
I don't think you're alone in that, Aidan, with the surprise. But no, Derek Crawford comes in and seeing this Siegrist on the way out. Also, maybe
Eventually.
That'll come out in the fullness of time, but it just seems a kind of strange one, doesn't it?
3 years as well. It's not even like a year or something.
Yes.
Did he have a year left on his contract? I think. So it's not even like you've just extended it for another year just so you've maybe got somebody. I could understand that, but 3 years, I don't want to sound like I'm hammering into Scott Bain, but in my opinion, I don't think he's even good enough to be a number 2. Never mind challenging for the number 1 spot, Tony. So it seemed a bit of a weird one. I do understand the Scottish players quota thing, and maybe that has played a part, but I would be thinking, could they not just promote a young player to the first team squad, even if they're not really going to be involved? We know we can have bigger groups of players in the Champions League, but there'll be a player somewhere that would maybe, even if it wasn't a goalkeeper, would there be a player somewhere else that would fit into that sort of dynamic that you'd still be meeting the Scottish quota? I'd imagine there probably would be, but yeah, it's just one of those ones. Like I say, it's not obviously been fully confirmed yet, as far as I'm aware, unless it's been announced since we've jumped on this. But it's one of those ones that I just personally didn't see it coming. I thought there might have been like a 1 year extension maybe coming up round about soon, so he just was there as an option. But the fact of the matter is, he's not played since.
Yes.
Well, if you think about how long it was, there was also that break last season. Remember the winter break get brought forward for COVID. Scott Bain's not played since before that, so that's how long it's been competitively. I should say it's just a long time ago, isn't it, Tony? Really, I think it'd be quite hard for them to come in. I mean, the team's developed so much in that time in terms of the way the ball's played out from the back. I know Joe Hart's got his deficiencies, but he's been there. He's been playing with it regularly, and it does make me wonder what the element's going to be in terms of is Siegrist going to be moved on. I think we've all kind of discussed that we'd maybe like another goalkeeper to be brought in. And the assumption was in that case that Joe Hart would move to be number 2. If he was wanting to stay and play that, maybe he'd rather go somewhere else and try and still be number 1. But if he isn't going to be sitting potentially with 4 goalkeepers or 3 when we think one should be brought in. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I guess it's something we just need to keep an eye on going into the summer.
Yes. Now, lots of comments coming in about it, and I'll just try and flick them up. Give me a second. Peter King, can't believe we've given Bain another contract, need better cover, he says. Marquis says it's a handicap, that UEFA quota. Scotland have a tiny country population compared to most. You have to meet the same homegrown player requirements. That's a fair point, actually. B comes in, bring back Fraser Forster and Derek Crawford. The 3 years make me think Seagrease might be moving on. He has been AWOL for months anyway. And Alan Wood says the third keeper is usually always homegrown for the quota. If that was the case about Scottish players, then why not bring back Craig Gordon? So lots of comments there, Aidan. Do you agree with all of those? None of those? Some of those?
I probably wouldn't be bringing back Craig Gordon, Tony. I wouldn't agree with that one. But the other, in terms of the homegrown thing, it is a valid point in terms of population size.
Yes.
Probably why that, even though we've discussed maybe it'd be better for Stephen Welsh's career and the development of the Celtic defence for him to move on, it's probably why he is on us. Still got a few years left in his contract. He probably will be sticking around for this sort of campaign. It's why somebody like Scott Robertson was in the Champions League squad, despite being nowhere near domestic squads. It's why somebody like Toby Oyewemi, he was in the Champions League squad as well, having academy players, having homegrown players as an aspect. I think Scott Robertson came on, was it in like one of the games against Leipzig or something? I can't remember, but it's so there will be players floating about in these types of squads who aren't really involved when it comes to domestic action or aren't anywhere near the first team. So yeah, I was just hoping there might have been sort of a younger player or something we could maybe put forward.
Yes, I'm not into the first team yet, indeed.
Right.
Going mental, can you hear that? Yes, aye.
Just a wee bit.
The window cleaner or something turned up, no doubt. Dear oh dear. There you have it. Well, I don't know, Aidan, are we going for our predictions for the St Mirren game? You're going to do that? Shall we do that? Get your predictions coming into the comment section, guys. Do you want to go first or second, Aidan?
I'll go first, Tony. I'll go first. And I'll say 3-0 Celtic.
Oh, stole my thunder. I'm going to say 3-0. So I guess I'm going to have to go one below or one above. I'll go 4-0 then, Aidan. Celtic to get back on winning ways in fine style. Derek Crawford comes in and says Tony's dog is not amused with the 3-year deal for Scott Bain. Next one like that. Now lots of scorelines coming in. Hazel Finn, morning Hazel, how you doing? Expect to bounce back after last week. 4-1 to Celtic. Marquis says 2-1. Alan Wood says 3-1. Derek Crawford says 3-1. There you go. Mostly a result. Jerry Smith says 7-0. It's usually Kaiser that comes in with the wild scorelines, isn't it? Michael Ross says 4-0. Most of them all positive, Aidan, over Celtic nature in a win. 5-0 Celtic, a response to last week. Michael Ross says to score as if he's playing. Still have hope of the goals record, says Christopher Mullen, so he's going 6-1. Jamie goes 2-0. Chilpill 3-0. Well, all guys are being reserved. 10-0, he says. David Orr 5-0. Eddie Janjo 2-0. Derek Crawford comes out, as you see. Yep, we flicked up that. Derek Crawford, brilliant show. Happy Friday, everyone. God bless you all. Thank you, Derek. Really appreciate that. Yep. Now, we didn't give too much away of our predicted 11s either, Aidan, but we did say we thought would maybe you go with a strong team, eh?
Yeah, I think he will play a relatively strong team. For example, I think Kyogo will be back in. I'm not having a go at I know he's been getting a lot of criticism, and he should have scored that chance. We've already touched on that ourselves, but yeah, I think Kyogo will be back in. Tony, top goal scorer. The fact he's fit and available, there's still a few weeks of the cup final. I think he'll be in, and then maybe there'll be some changes midweek against Rangers. Sorry. I keep getting the team mixed up against Hibs, and then the following weekend against Aberdeen, maybe finishing the season strongly in the cup final. But I reckon that it will probably be a relatively strong team tomorrow, sort of back to what the core sort of 10, 11 players has been across the season.
And Alan Woods comes in 5-0 the women. Here's hoping Alan, and that the other result goes their way. Gentlemen, it's always result dependent, isn't it, Aidan? I always say it, your weekend's result dependent. But you put a couple of, Fran Alonso.
Just when I thought about the women's team stuff, Tony, like Ryan did a wee bit about sort of Celtic women, Fran Alonso in the rising popularity of the SWPL, just looking ahead to the game at the weekend. and sort of a wee bit of the season in general. It was quite good. That's went out on the site today, so that's available to everybody. It's not behind the paywall, so everybody
Excellent.
can look at that.
Nice one. And before we go, it's our best ever deal, ladies and gentlemen. It's a year for £12, works out at £1 a month. Can't say fairer than that. All for the click of a button. You subscribe to the Celtic Way and support top quality journalism covering the club you love. We'll endeavour to provide that, as well as the daily briefings and long read interviews and stats analysis from StatsBomb. It's all here. We've got you covered. Click the button, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. That's www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. All that remains for me to say is thank you, Aidan. Top class contribution today. Always is. Appreciate it. Enjoy your weekend. You know what happens. It's always prefaced on Celtic winning, and we say this weekend in particular, and the Celtic women winning. So we extend our best wishes in regards to them, and we hope they can see it over the line and win that title. I just want to see Fran Alonso's reaction if that happens, to be honest. So that's my main reason for hoping that happens. But yes, indeed. Have a fantastic Friday, ladies and gentlemen. We'll do it all again on Monday, because we never stop either, Aidan, do we? At the Celtic, we don't stop either. So all the best. Take care. See you later. Cheers, Aidan.
Cheers, guys.